Title belts to Hall of Fame. Doug and Tommy carved the name. Fists of fury and hearts of gold. Every story, every fight retold. Tales of glory, laughter, cry. Tennessee warriors with hearts open wide. In the ring or on the air, legends living without a care. On the mic they roar, on the mat they soar. Dangerous conversations, fans wanting more. Guys, kings ruling the waves. Memphis wrestling raising the stage.
Hey everybody, welcome back once again to Dangerous Conversations with Dangerous Doug Gilbert and Wildfire Tommy Ridge. Tommy is back in the house with us this week after not being around last week. How are you guys doing? Tommy, where you been?
I guess I've been doing better than you, man.
Everybody's doing better than me, man. Good grief.
Hey, no, I've been where you been. I heard you had to pass up one of them stones, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is for a woman when she's pregnant, but they say that's as bad. And hey, firsthand experience, I do know it is, man. God bless you. I'm glad you're back and feeling better. Of course, you were still moaning me a few minutes ago about you still hurting a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it turns out because of this kidney stone, I went and had a CT scan and found out I got a bunch of other crap going on. So still got some kidney pain, but nothing like what I had last week. So it's going to be all right. But Doug, how are you, man?
Man, I can't complain, Gene. Everything's good. Just been out in a lot of hot weather last week and this week. It's been, I told Tommy I got in my truck today and it said 101. I said, my goodness. But anyway, no, everything's good and everything's been just rolling right along. And me and Tommy, I've been taking a lot of calls for a lot of different things. Like you said on here before, if anybody wants me or Tommy for anything, for events, for signings, for wrestling, for parties, for anything, all you gotta do is get a hold of Gene on here,
and summer's about over here at the beach, ladies and gentlemen. So a party on the road is well ready to go now. So yeah, any kind of deal you want to do, but a party preferable.
Or at least add one into the mix, whatever it is you're booking for. Make sure there's a party somewhere along the way.
Yeah, after we get done working, at least it should be a party anyway.
There you go.
But no, everything's been good, Gene. But just like I said, been taking a lot of calls and a lot of different people having a lot of different things, and sent out quite a few books a couple days ago, so people should be getting them and everything. So that's all good.
Awesome, yeah, man. The Memphis Mafia is busy as ever, and we're almost to August already. I can't believe that this 2025. We're already almost 8 months into it, and it's been a busy year for you guys. You guys have been all over.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, it's been really good. I think Tommy stayed really busier than me and you both, and that's a good thing.
Oh yeah,
and
we can't keep up with Tommy for sure.
Oh no, he's the man.
Most of my busy time's been at the beach, guys.
I got you.
Well, yeah, that's what sinks, man. You're out running the roads wrestling, and the rest of the time you're at the beach.
I know. I feel so bad. I'm looking at both of y'all, man, and y'all so pale white looking. Y'all make me down here laying out. And I know Dougie, of course, Eugene, I don't know if you ever get outside or not. You kind of like one of them vampire people. But Dougie, yeah. I know he gets out and works every day, and he kind of pale looking too. I need to get y'all down here. And I'm talking about sitting on the beach. We went to the beach this past weekend. My daughter come down for my birthday. And, no, Doug, I'm not asking for gifts. I'm just saying my birthday just passed.
I was fixing to say let's say we're in August. So this is
we had a good time down at the beach and everything, man. We sit out. Sun was beautiful, yeah. And I just got my hair done, so I'm looking pretty tonight.
You ready?
This is his 8th birthday of the year.
Well, I'm glad to hear you had a good birthday. That's good to hear. Well, guys, speaking of reaching out, not only do people reach out with requests for bookings and things of that nature, they also reach out with questions. And this week we're going to have this is, believe it or not, guys, this is our 7th Ask Doug and Tommy episode where we spend the whole show answering your questions. So we've got some pretty good ones here this week, guys. So I guess we better get into it. Rodney Ellis asks, Doug, I know in the past Tommy has talked about his very first match in Tupelo, Mississippi, but I haven't heard you talk about your first match. When and where was your very first match, and who was it against?
My very first match would have been in Malden, Missouri. Malden, Missouri is where my dad's first match, my brother's first match, my first match. A lot of the guys from Wayne Ferris, I think his first match was over there. Larry Latham. I think Lawler's might have actually been over there, but that's where a lot of the guys from around here went. And there was a promoter named Henry Rogers, and it was a railroad building, a depot, like the tracks went right beside of it, and
Yeah.
it was the funniest thing. If you went out on the floor, like you rode out, or you ever took a bump out on the floor and everything, you'd get up and you'd have, I don't want to say grease, but it was something, you know what I'm saying? It was like it wasn't a real nice feeling, but it was cool. Like he was really an old time promoter, and there was one of the Grahams that would sit over there with him, like him, and they would sit in the back and everything and drink, and they drank whiskey, but it was a cool deal and everything. I think I was right at 16 to 17, right. I could look up and tell you when it actually first was, but I think I was just about to turn 17.
Nice.
Dang, man, I'd like to be there on some of that getting on now. I like the pre-party.
Sounds like
I don't know if you got to wrestle there or not, but I'm jealous now.
And the cool thing, I remember, when Eddie was starting, there was a guy named Dallas Montgomery that was over there when Eddie was starting and everything, and him and Eddie, I think, won their tag team belts, and the tag team belts had stars on the side, but it was just like straight up pointed things, and him and Eddie was tag team champions, and Eddie picked the belt up and just sliced his finger open. I mean, it was that sharp and everything, but just different things like that you remember and everything. But it was a tag match with a guy named Tim Shackford that my dad trained, and me and him was tag team against two of the local guys there in town in Malden, Missouri.
It's amazing.
Go ahead.
It's amazing how many guys got their start in Malden, Missouri. I mean, I would like to at some point do some research on that and dig a little deeper into that, because, man, especially Tennessee guys. Was there any particular reason why so many Tennessee guys started in Malden, Missouri?
Yeah, it was like I said, that was the place as far as to go. The respected guys that run that and everything, and I mean, it was just like I said, I was trying to think of the Graham guy that was back there, but those guys had done stuff in the business and knew the business, and I mean, just old school promoters and everything. I mean, everybody, they would send their people, like if you got trained, like when my dad got trained, they'd send him over there and everything, because they was all tight and everything. And like I said, it's where my dad started, or Eddie started, where I started, and I mean, a ton of guys. But yeah, we need to pull up, or I'll do it, Gene, if you want to, and pull up, and me and you and Tommy talk about some of the guys and the years that they come through Malden, Missouri.
That'd be very, very interesting.
It's really kind of cool too. It's kind of like me saying, when I broke in for Jerry Jarrett, he sent me over to work for Nick, on that side of the territory where, you know, these guys, they were from Memphis in that area, and they'd go over there and work before they, you know, do the angles and stuff.
Yeah.
Once you, because back then, you know, once you was on that TV, and if you got beat up, so they would send you somewhere, man. That's the way sports used to be. And that's some education, though. The ones that Wayne Ferris, Larry Latham, Tommy Gilbert, Eddie and Doug. I mean, and ain't no telling who else come from out of there. I mean, like you said, Lawler, probably was Lawler and Jim White, you know, had their over there.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Tommy said, Gene, I mean, before they put you on TV, kind of try to polish you up a little bit and everything. And I mean, it was good. And I say polish you up, and that's what I laugh about, taking bumps out on the floor. You get up, you look at your arm, you got some grease on you and stuff. But man, it was cool. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I was just a kid and everything. And I mean, like I said, my dad had trained like a dozen different guys, and that's where he sent all them to and everything.
It's a wonder nobody does like some kind of reunion something around Malden with all that wrestling history they have there. I'm not sure exactly how big a town Malden is these days, but you could probably get some people there if you've got a bunch of wrestlers together.
That might be a good idea, Gene.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if we can't put a bug in somebody's ear.
And on that too, we go over see Branson. All that Missouri, they got some pretty country up through there now.
Definitely.
Yeah, Tommy used to have a big hookup in Branson. He'd go about every other month or something, and a lot of times he'd get paid for himself and paid for me.
We used to, Branson. I don't know if they probably ain't even close together though.
No, they're very far apart. But
okay. But at Missouri, and of course, Kenneth, Missouri, that was another town. We used to go over the line and wrestle in. I wrestled in Kenneth, but I never wrestled in that town y'all was talking about. I hate that.
See, that's where my family's from, is Kennett, Missouri. My dad was born in Zenith, and my mom was born in Kennett, and that's where they all came, is from the Boot Hill of Missouri over there. So I used to go there a lot as a kid to go visit, like, my grandma and stuff like that. So
cool.
See all the wrestling history that was that went on in Kennett and Malden and all that general area. Because Malden's not that far from Kennett, right? It's
no, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's not, Tommy. It's not about an hour from here.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like when we go through or over the river there.
Yeah.
When you go over, you come into Kennett. So that's close. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I never did a lot in Missouri, as far as that goes. Of course, hey, you know who I wrestled for in Kennett, Missouri?
Who?
Buddy Wayne. Hey.
The Wayne Peel.
Hey.
Oh, Buddy Wayne, yes, sir.
So
yeah, that was his town. We all wrestled for him there.
I never knew that's who ran that town. I knew a lot of stuff happened in Kennett, but I didn't know Buddy Wayne was one of his towns.
That was one of Buddy Wayne's towns.
Interesting. Well, Andrew sent this into the email quite a while back. I feel bad it took us this long to get around to it, but it went into the spam folder, and I didn't see it for a long time. But here you go, Andrew. It's kind of lengthy, so he said, I recently went through Tommy's Memphis run in 1980 and 81. He leaves Georgia after he doesn't win the world title against Harley Race, and then comes back to Memphis, comes back in early 81 and wins the world title shortly after. But what was the reason for his 8th-month Memphis run? Was he always planning to go back to Atlanta, or did it just happen that way?
That's just the nature of the beast, man. I mean, you get somewhere, like I said, I'd have a singles run in Atlanta, and then I'd have a tag run, and then I was so blessed I didn't have to go to Oklahoma, or I didn't have to go to Louisiana. I wrestled in Georgia, and then when I had that run, I'd come home, to Tennessee, and it's just one of them things. I lost, I won the title, lost it, and then so it was just time to go.
Yeah, because that was more of those. I mean, I guess back then, was that more of one of those things where you just kind of felt it? It wasn't like you'd come in and a promoter say, all right, you're going to be here for 7 months and then you're going to go back to wherever. Whereas it's like you come in, you have your run, and then when it feels right, they let you go somewhere else, and knowing you're going to come back.
That's when Jarrett put me on that good guarantee, and I left my check laying in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Nearly started another promotional war.
Yeah.
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 Hey, old Frank Morrell and Phil
A
Hickerson.
picture money.
Yeah, Frank Morrell and Phil Hickerson was highly pissed that night.
I can imagine those two. And then the second part of his question, he says, then you go back to Memphis and immediately turn heel. Whose idea was that?
That's just business. If you want to be on the top card, you had to wrestle Jerry Lawler because he was the top baby face, and which it was good for me. I did the baby, and that's when it was territories and nobody, really knew what was, except for Atlanta. They knew I was a big baby face, but as far as when I come to Memphis, they didn't know in Georgia what was going on. So it was good. I got to live both sides of life, and I wouldn't take nothing in the world for that either. I mean, as much as fans love me in Georgia, they hated me just as bad in Memphis, So evidently I did my job good both ways. If nothing else, what was the guy's name? Pat himself on the back?
Barry Horowitz.
Yeah. I'm not patting myself on the back, but, I was blessed to get to wrestle both sides and did well with both of them.
Yeah, the best of both worlds. You can't beat that, to get to experience both at a high level. Next question, Jake Harbison asks, and he sent this in before the events of last week, ironically. It says, as two guys who were prominent in the business during both of their heyday, who do you think meant more to the wrestling business overall, Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Tommy, you want to answer it first?
No, you go ahead.
Well, I think as far as the earlier days, I mean, Hogan, you go by what money people drew and everything. I mean, a lot of people like my dad, Terry Hulk come through here, and my dad and brother worked with him some and everything. And they said he was always a super nice guy to them and everything. But, he paid his dues. He slept in the back of a van. He slept on the beach. I mean, he paid his dues. I got to respect that. But, I mean, and he drew a ton of money. He drew a ton of, as far as merchandise, and he drew a ton of money with that. And I mean, I hear people now saying some bad things, and I think people ought not even say nothing if they got bad stuff to say about somebody. But I mean, he done a great deal for the wrestling business and made a lot of people a lot of money, and he helped out a lot of his friends, and I got a lot of respect for that and everything. But and then you go to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, Steve, look at all the money he drew, and the still to today what he's drawing is still. I mean, Hulk is still drawing. Look at the all the different things that Hulk is still in today. I mean, like the beer, the Great American Beer.
Like his beer everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So I mean, that plus everything else.
Get it.
For a guy that's supposedly been out of the business so long, as far as wrestling wise, look at all the stuff still he's got going. They just opened his shop, I think, and in Pigeon Forge.
Yeah,
and
they just opened it up.
Had just opened it up and everything. But I got a ton of respect for both of them. I think they both. I know Steve come through here with me, and he paid his dues and everything, and he was super nice. Always super nice to me, and I think he's a great guy and everything. So I just have to say, both of them, I think, done great. And I mean, I wouldn't put one over the other.
Well, I knew Sterling. He come through Georgia, and Ole was a booker, and Ole didn't know what to do. And of course, he didn't look like Hulk Hogan then either.
Yeah,
he was just started out of the band into the wrestling business, but he had a charisma to him. But then he went to AWA for Vern, and then he ended up in up there for Vince, and man, he was off to the races. I mean, Vince put the right gimmick on him, and shit, he ain't never looked back. But he did. He was, like Dougie said, he was as good for the business as anybody that's ever been. That's for sure. Especially moving it from territories to nationwide. I mean, he's the one that opened that door. I mean, so, and then of course Steve Austin, he come through Georgia, and Steve Austin, I wrestled him a couple times, just a very respectful person, and nothing but good things to say for him. And he went there and took the gimmick. He was off to the races too. I mean, he lives in Rio or somewhere, so he's done pretty doggone good, I'd say. So yeah, it's hard to say who did the best. I mean, you'd have to look at the stats for that, but both of them, I mean, as far as the wrestling business and putting it on the map, they both done a hell of a job.
Yeah, and too, Gene, I want to say, I'm sure sorry about the passing of Huck. I send our condolences, me and Tommy and yourselves, also the family and all of his friends, Jimmy Hart and everybody else that knew him a lot better than I did. But I always heard good things about Terry, and it really made me. I read a thing the other day that Stan Hansen had said about him, about getting to know him in Japan, and that's like I've told you, you really get to know people in Japan. When you're just there with one or two guys and everything. And he said that Hansen said, and he's always, the times I've been around him, has always been a real nice gentleman and everything. But he said he got to know him and said that he was, he paid his dues and he was just a good guy. And when Stan Hansen says that, that's
yeah, like definitely carries some weight. And, for all the negative things that people have been saying, truth be told, there's hardly anybody in this world that probably hasn't had a phone conversation where they said some things that wasn't for public consumption, that they said it in a moment of anger, that if they were famous and it got played on TV, it would probably cause them some problems, So I don't know why people want to cling to that and make such a big deal of it. But either way, you fight both those guys a lot for wrestling.
Hey, Gene, at least it was just on the phone call. They didn't think would be it. They didn't do it actually on live TV.
Yeah.
Dougie just says what he wants to say on TV now.
Yeah, see, Doug never took that lesson from Hulk. Hulk's like, brother, don't say it on live Memphis TV,
live
dude.
TV. Let me tell you what I think.
Me.
Woo, yeah. I never tried to picture that promo that got Hogan in trouble if he'd have done it on like Monday Night Raw or something. All right, we better move past that. Old School Andy asks, do either of you have any memories or fun stories about Chris Champion? There's a name that's never came up on the show yet.
Oh.
I to be honest with you, my path was hello, hi, how you doing? He had some struggles in his life. I mean, he was always nice to me, but I mean, as far as knowing anything about him, I mean, and the matches I've seen of him, he was, had good matches. I don't know. Dougie might know him a little better than I do.
The funniest thing, I knew Chris when he come, after that new breed, when they called him that, and he come to Memphis after that and everything. Him and Mark Starr, was that his brother, Gene? Or?
That's what they say. I didn't know that for a long time, but yeah, I've been told that was his brother.
Yeah, and everything. They come to Memphis, and they was always really nice to me. But one of the funniest things when he was the turtle, the Cowabunga,
Cowabunga, the Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, and they said and the funniest thing, he had a shell on his back, so you couldn't pin his shoulders down like you could, and everything. But he was funny, but then he wound up getting in a tad of trouble as a turtle and everything. Yeah. But anyway, no, he was great. I mean, he was always super nice to me and everything. I liked Chris and everything, but he was super nice. But he had some weird ways and, I mean, different type. But, I mean, I laughed. He was always funny to me. I mean, he was funny. He'd say stuff and he'd make me laugh. He was, to me, he was cool to be around because, like I said, I don't like drama. I like to laugh and have a good time, like y'all two know and everything. And he was a character.
That new breed gimmick was really interesting because, they were supposed to be from the future. And so they'd be out there in their promos talking about how they just came from the future and how Dusty Rhodes was president and all that kind of silly stuff.
They was from the future, all right.
Yeah, they made it believable. You believe they were from somewhere besides anywhere close to here.
Yeah, your boy Flair got them fired.
Well, I tell you what, I've talked with other people that have talked about how many jobs like Jeff Jarrett has gotten people in the business, but has anybody gotten more people fired than Ric Flair? Honestly, can you name anybody?
Well, I laughed at Eddie. Eddie was so funny. He said that he had that meeting with him and Tommy and said, "Brother, as long as I'm here, y'all will have jobs for life." And Eddie said, "I think he missing. I don't think he actually said what he meant to say." And I said, "What's that, Eddie?" And he said, "I think what he meant to say was, as long as I'm here, you and Tommy be doing jobs for life." But it was funny. But Eddie saying that to me, it's so funny. Which Eddie could imitate anybody, Gene. Ask Tommy. I mean, Eddie could imitate and sound just like anybody, and he would do it.
And I don't mean no disrespect, Gene. You're funny when you imitate people, but Eddie did it for real.
Yeah, I hate we didn't get an opportunity to hear more of that. It's not like he did it on TV and stuff. So I wish there was, some footage of that. I'd love to hear some of that.
Eddie good. No, Eddie. I mean, I'm not great, but
I mean, John Wayne. It didn't matter if you wanted to do anybody.
John Wayne, he was right on the money. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, anybody he wanted to do. If he decided he wanted to do it in a day or two, he would sound just like him. I mean, he sounds just like Tommy. He sounds just like, if he wants to sound like you, he sounds just like you. He sounds just like me. I mean, he do he loved like John Wayne and all the people like that he liked and everything.
He did James Stewart too, didn't he? Did James Stewart?
Yeah.
Damn, but how can I remember that?
I don't know that he did that.
He did that. James Stewart's got that voice too. You know. It got to be an old person who James Stewart.
Right.
Check him out. Look him up.
Yeah. If you've ever seen that movie, It's a Wonderful Life. That's
it.
Jimmy Stewart they're referring to here. So
right.
All right. So good thing we mentioned Eddie, because this next question centers around him. Ty Claude asks, and it's kind of lengthy. Can you give some insight on the way Eddie approached his matches, as in how he viewed bumps? I've seen Eddie take bumps in ways I've never seen anyone else take them before, and he could usually work circles around his opponents, but he always managed to make them look good in the process, even if they didn't know the difference between a wrist lock and a wristwatch. Well, there's an oldie but a goodie line there, but that's Ty.
That, to me, Gene, that's what I mean. My dad, and when Tommy got trained by told Joe and Jerry and them, you always, I mean, it don't matter how bad a guy is or whatever. When you are a good worker, you bring them up to your standards. It don't drop you down to their standards. If you're good, and it don't matter whether you're a baby face, a heel. My dad always taught me and Eddie, as far as if you was a good worker, he'd say you was a utility guy. You could be a heel, you could be a baby face, you could be whatever was needed, because you could never tell in those days, like when Tommy started, if somebody didn't show up or like when Eddie was starting and when they was just getting worked into the programs and stuff and starting out on the bottom, you didn't know what you had to be. But if you was a good worker, a utility guy, you could be, if you need to be a heel, if you need to be a baby face, whatever you needed to be, you could be, and you brought the person up to your level. You didn't let them bring you down to their level. And Eddie, I mean, and this is the strangest thing. And I think I've said this to you before, Gene. I never heard Eddie say that he couldn't have a good match with anybody. But he did tell me that he was disappointed because he didn't really ever feel like he could have a good match with Dundee. Just the chemistry, something about their chemistry. And I mean, he tried hard every night and busted his ass with everybody. And I think the one person he was disappointed in his matches with was always Dundee because he knew he could have good matches, and I thought they was good though, but they didn't live up to his expectations. But some people just don't gel, and Bill was a great worker and drew a ton of money, and I love Bill. But now Bill had to want to, both guys have got to want to.
Yeah.
Bill has some.
Yeah, but anyway, but I mean, and I love Bill. Bill's great. And the thing about it was, I thought I could have good matches with Bill, and I thought I had a few. I want to say good matches with Bill, but not great matches. But I thought I should have been able to have great matches with Bill because Lawler put us in the angle against one another, and then he'd get Bill hot. But I thought with Bill being hot, the matches would actually be good. But all he'd do is it'd get him hot, and then he'd punch me hard in the face every time. But I love Bill. Bill's great. I love him.
But now back to original subject about working with a guy, making him look as good as you. And the purpose for that being, though, I mean, it's like you'd have to go out on Memphis TV and work against a job guy, and they tell you just to eat his lunch. But if you go out there and just beat the daylights out of somebody, you ain't beat nobody. So wrestle guys, especially if you just wrestle them around the territory, it had to look like competition. You wouldn't want to have to go out there and just kick his butt. Especially back then, you had to go 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So you can't kick somebody's butt for 20. So you had to go out there and make them look like something to where when you did beat them, you had somebody, I mean, because, the next guy up's got to wrestle him. So you wanted to make everybody look as good as we could because we all worked with each other every other night or something,
Yeah.
Adam would switch up, but it was still the same guys, just be different matches.
And if one guy on the show looked bad, you all look bad, right? I mean, it drags the whole show down.
Right, exactly. And Gene, we need to tell Tommy bragging on that shirt. I love him, and like I said, usually I wear one on here. But everybody can go to Pro Wrestling Tees and get the Memphis Mafia new shirts and everything. If they
That's right. Go there.
They're really cool. I like the chains and the fists and the 35-year anniversary. That's cool. Tommy, that is cool. I don't know why I don't have mine on. Well, I guess because I got this tank top on and be a little comfortable. I've been hot all day.
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm wishing I was in Memphis with you, too. Yeah. But, hey, I was looking. I said, well, hell, I was off last week. I got to wear the Memphis Mafia, man. 35th year anniversary. I mean, doggone, it don't get no better than that. And I didn't realize, but me and Doug wrestled Brian Christopher and Buddy Landell. But Brian loved Buddy Landell, but Doug was telling me it was a match with me and Dougie wrestling them two. So not only did the Memphis Mafia team up together and wrestle everybody or fought together, but we fought each other too, man. I thought that was dang cool.
Yeah. And what was real cool at the end of the match, Buddy turned on Brian, so he's back on Tommy's side. And everything. And y'all do realize, I want to say, we all still think about Brian today. It's the 7th year anniversary of his passing. I still think about him every day. And, man, I love Brian. And like Tommy said, me and Brian was together Brian, me and Eddie took him. He never had to pay for a hotel room, never had to pay no trans. But when a guy's starting and you want to help him out and everything, I mean, Brian was great. I mean, he'd go with me and Eddie, and I don't know, some people might say that wasn't a good thing, but we all thought it was a good thing. We had a big time and everything, and he'd go on the loop with us and everything, and he'd stay with us, and we had a blast, man. 7
years. Time is such an odd thing. Like it on one hand, it does kind of feel real, but on the other hand, it's like, man, 7 years. Like time just goes by so quick. The older we get.
And you know what, Gene? That's why we got to live. And Tommy is a prime example of this. He lives the best day every day that he can. And I like to think I do that too. But I'm going to tell you, Tommy is the best about not, I think, overthink business deals and everything. Tommy don't worry about nothing. He'll say he does or whatever, but he don't worry about nothing and everything. I used to think
that's your line, though. It don't do you no good. It is
that.
what. No, I got that from you. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I tell Tommy every couple of days when we're talking, I said, there's no sense in worrying about nothing. But then I go into business dealings and I get to thinking about them, and you're thinking, was this going to work, or is that going to work, or what? When you got so many different things, but I preach, and Tommy tells me I need to listen to what I preach about But I thought the perfect person, and I love that about Tommy, and that's winning. That's you winning the battle. It don't do no good to worry about nothing. You need to be happy. Life's too short and everything, and we all need to be happy and do what we can do.
It's a lot easier said than done to just not worry about stuff. But I mean, it really is. If you can stay up all night worrying about something and not getting sleep and worry yourself to death, but the end result's the same the next day, whether you had a good night's sleep or you stayed up worrying.
Yeah, but it's not.
Bottom line is, ain't none of us promised tomorrow. And like Dougie said, I mean, just be it. It's like you get out here and some of these folks pull out in front of you. My grandson, he go crazy. And I relax, and before I'd have been with him, just pulled in front of him, it is. I mean, it's just, you just got to enjoy life and not worry about the little shit.
Yeah. Well, it's something to work towards every day. That's for sure.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Patrick Glover asks, I know in past episodes you guys have said that you've been fortunate enough not to suffer any major injuries in the ring, but I'm curious, what's the worst legit injury that either or both of you guys have witnessed in person at a show?
Well, I guess death would be one, wouldn't it?
That would be pretty serious.
Well, me and Tommy saw that at Memphis.
Spot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be the worst case scenario right there.
Everything. You think Tommy could give me you some ice cream?
He's rubbing our face now. You just talked about how much better he lives than us. Now he's eating ice cream.
Yeah, at the beach, eating ice cream.
Oh, well, at least I ain't drinking a beer. What the heck? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I was fixing to say it's probably got a little liquor in it.
It might. It might be a pina colada. You never know.
There you go. But now I would say death. But Tommy, what? Well, I'm gonna tell you, injury was it with? Yeah, it was with Eddie and Tommy. Troy Graham. Doing his leg in Nashville. That was a bad thing.
Oh, that was ugly.
A compound, the bone.
He had broken in two places, foot caught in the mat, and I forgot about that. Oh, that was probably the ugliest I've ever seen. Yeah. And I've seen another guy. I was in Newark, and a big heavyset, about 450-pound boy. He had a heart attack in the ring and passed away. I mean, that thing with Troy, that was bad too. I mean, it was. Well, he didn't wrestle.
I said Troy didn't get back in the ring for almost 10 years after that. I think it was like 94 when he finally got back. He managed for a while in a wheelchair.
Managed the intern, or not the interns. What was the match?
Yeah, it was the interns. It was the interns.
Yeah.
It was Bass and Roger Smith as the interns, and he had and Troy had the scrubs on. Yeah. And people kept waiting. People thought it was a gimmick. They kept waiting for him to jump up out of that wheelchair like Ron Wright used to do, but it wasn't happening because he was legit in that wheelchair at that point.
Yeah, I was fixing to say that happened against Eddie and Tommy and everything, and that was in the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, that was bad.
And we've seen me and Tommy both have seen a bunch of other ones, but that's kind of
Yeah.
The worst ones is if somebody passes away, but that leg break of Troy's, that was in two spots where bones come out of your leg.
Like you see on the movies or something, leg like bit his foot's up there by him,
Yeah.
I mean, it was, yes, sir, it was bad.
Kind of like what happened to poor Sid years later. I mean, I know the guy asked for one you were there for, but what happened to Sid on pay-per-view, that's horrific to watch.
And I was going to say that was off. Me and Tommy wasn't there at that deal. I don't guess Tommy was there. I wasn't there.
No, I wasn't, no.
And everything, but that was awful. But I mean, me and Sid was always really tight.
Yeah.
And after that, and that's a strange thing too. A lot of people think, but
that was an odd couple.
Yeah.
A potentially volatile couple. If they'd ever cut loose together on Power Pro, my gosh.
Oh man.
Sure enough, man. All right. So Memphis Mike asks, Doug, with all your experience working in both Memphis and in Japan, who is a Memphis wrestler that never got the chance to go to Japan, but you think would have thrived over there had they been given the opportunity?
Well, I mean, there's a number of them, and this is going to sound odd to you, but if he would have ever had the opportunity, I don't even think he ever went. He might have went once or something, but I don't think he did. I think Mike Miller would have been a good guy over there. I mean, Mike was real solid. Tommy, did you ever work with me, Mike Miller?
I don't think so. I was trying to think of that name. I don't even.
He spent almost his whole career in Oregon.
Yeah.
And then he come here. Gene, I don't think he was really anywhere else, was he?
Oh, who you're talking about?
No, it was pretty much Portland and Memphis was his two spots.
Yeah, and everything. And I'm actually going to get him, if y'all want. He still is alive, right, Gene?
Yeah. He
was in.
He was when they did that Portland. Lynn Denton talked to us about doing that big show they were doing in Portland. He was at that.
Well, I thought he was, but somebody had sent me a thing and said something that I heard about something happening to him, and I hadn't. But anyway, he was over here in Bolivar, Tommy, living the last that I heard. So I would get a hold of him and get him on the show with me. I love Mike. Mike, we traveled together when he was here a lot. Man, he was super fun, but he was a solid. I mean, he didn't kill you or nothing, but his work was just solid and everything, and he would have been great for Japan. But I'm going to tell you who, if they didn't have a deal with WWF, then was Brian. Brian could have had a hell of a career over there, but I mean, he had a hell of a career here. So, I mean, as far as money-wise, they had him on a guarantee, plus he got all of his gimmick money, and he made a ton of gimmick money, and everything. And the funny thing, me and Tommy was throwing stuff out at him and Jamie and them in a car one night, and I seen stuff flying out the window. And all of a sudden I seen, because he was out the window throwing stuff, was pockets on them Zubaz pants. He had all his money in his pocket, like his gimmick money, and his gimmick money was flying out of his pocket. And you could see it flying. And he got back in, and we stopped down the road. I said, "What?" I said, "What was that coming out the window?" He said, "My freaking money." I said, "What?" He said, "I just put that, they give me my gimmick money, and I just stuck it in my pocket." And he said, "It almost all blew out." And I mean, he was like $500 or something.
Oh, God. Well, that's a tough night there. Yeah, man, I'd love for you to get Mike Miller on here. We just saw a lot of his work in '93 on the USWA show last year, and he had some pretty fun stuff, so that'd be cool to get a chance to talk to him for sure.
Cool. And I bet Tommy's been around him. I bet if we ask him, I bet he's been around Tommy somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure they've had to have crossed paths, at least in Memphis at some point, at least briefly. But so
he was in the car. He was in the car the night on the way back from Evansville when Bill got me and Brian drinking, and we wound up. Bill said, "Why don't y'all just get out and wrestle?" And I thought, "Get out and wrestle." And I laughed. Brian laughed. Well, about 6-7 beers apiece, and me and Brian, we didn't drink. I'll be damned if we didn't get out and freaking. We was rolling around in the grass on the side of the interstate. That Mike Miller and Bill were laughing, and Brian couldn't see worth of crap. And his glasses was a Coke bottle thick, And when we got out, he laid them on the trunk. When we got back in, we was both so tired and blowed up. He forgot about his glasses.
Oh,
and
no.
Pulled off, and his glasses flew off the car, and they was gone. Me and him dirty with grass stains and everything. And like I said, you asked Tommy, I ain't never been that big of a drinker or nothing, and anything. 6, 7 beers, hell, 2 beers get me drunk. And but Brian didn't even drink, and I didn't really drink. And Bill and them got us going and instigated, and it was fun. We had some good trips. I had some good trips with Mike.
Pepsi Phil 87 asks, I know most people will say Bam Bam Bigelow or Big Van Vader, but who would each of you say was the most athletic big man you ever stepped into the ring with?
Bam Bam Bigelow, probably. I mean, I didn't never wrestle Andre the Giant, but I mean, if you talk about the biggest man in the world that could move, I mean, Andre could do what he wanted to do. Sometimes he didn't want to do nothing. But Andre, I mean, he was pretty dang agile to be that big. But Bam Bam Bigelow, I mean, I worked with him. Of course, I worked to deal with him against Lawler, worked with him a lot, but I worked with him some up in ECW. I mean, just Bam and Bam Bam could work too. I mean, but you go back and Jerry Blackwood. I mean, he could throw a prettier drop kick than I could. He wasn't but a 4'11". I don't know how tall he was, as wide as he was tall. But he'd throw a drop kick, and I don't care if you was 6'4", 6 foot, whatever. He'd hit you dead in the chest every time. I was shocked and amazed. And made me remember that. I mean, that was pretty impressive to me. I mean, wore them old overalls and stuff, and throw a drop kick like all us young baby faces wish we could.
And Gene, like I told you, the first time I worked a show for Jerry Jarrett, Eddie Marlin called me, and I didn't have no idea who I was going to wrestle. I had wrestled Tojo, and I had to come as under a mask. Yeah. I had to come back in the Battle Royal and wound up being one of the last 3 in there, and Bigelow was in the Battle Royal, which Bigelow won the Battle Royal, but I was scared to death. Yeah, and like I said, I was 17 years old, and I was the first match, and my dad and my brother, they was off in different territories and everything, and I thought, oh me, how's this? You got Tojo, which and that's the funny thing. I look back at it now, I was scared to death of Tojo. And here's the thing, the difference, Gene. I knew, from going when I was a kid and meeting all the guys, how everything was, but I was still scared to death. I think it's nerves and scared of Tojo. And then when they told me I had to be in the Battle Royal and being in there with Bigelow, and then they told me to stay in the last with him, I thought, oh my God, he'd kill me and everything. But man, it was Bigelow. I loved Scotty. Scotty was a great guy and everything.
Yeah.
I got to work with him 4 or 5 times, and then the thing up north I got to do with him. And man, but he was just a super cool, mellow, laid back. But you wouldn't, people wouldn't think that. But man, I loved him. He liked to party a little bit and everything, and he was really fun.
Yeah, he was always a favorite of mine. It was really fun to watch him work.
Yeah. Well, hey, what really got me was really tickled me was Lawler told me about him. Said he was talking about how he liked to work with him and everything, but he said, but that one night he said, I don't know what he was thinking. I said, what are you talking about? He said he picked me up like he was going to suplex me on the floor and just drop me straight on the the barrier rail around the ring in Memphis. He said, I thought it busted something in the middle of me all the way up, and I laughed. But he said he just, and I remember what he was talking about when he was telling me that. And but he just picked him straight up a suplex, and it just kind of dropped him, and like he fell on that metal rail right across his midsection.
Oh God!
Said, I thought it killed me. And but I love Scotty. He was always really nice to me. I traveled with him here. He'd be one of them. Like I was telling you, Kurt Hennig, that would get the rent-a-car, and I'd travel with him and carry it back for him and everything.
Yeah. Good stuff. Frankie Moore asks, was there ever an angle or idea that a promoter approached either of you with that you just flat out refused to do for whatever reason?
Not just only one that I mean, just like when they wanted to turn me and Doug against each other. I mean, me and Eddie, that was cool, like turning, but just everybody knew how close we were. I mean, other than that, that's probably the only time that we, ever said anything.
Yeah, I can't really think of another time, Gene, that I was really. I'm trying to think of a time that I was on the borderline, but the deal with me and Tommy, I told him, and me and Tommy talked about it. I said, man, people ain't gonna freaking believe this. It don't matter how good we are. They knew we was, that we was tight, and that how tight Eddie and Tommy was, and then, they knew Eddie passed away, and Tommy was like the only brother that I had, and everything, and it just wasn't, and my heart wouldn't have been into it. I mean, and like I said, I don't think the people would have believed it. And I mean, it don't matter how good and how hard me and Tommy tried, the people knew that me and Tommy was family.
Yeah.
They knew it was a work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was true.
They knew. Yeah. They knew that's got to be business. Cause I mean and that's good. I mean, people knew us because that's the way we were. We were honest.
I think sometimes once you establish a bond between two people, it's not always the best thing to break them up. Like you don't need to. Every team doesn't need to split up and feud at some point.
Tommy said we was honest. We was honest about that.
So NWA Justin says, Tommy, I was looking through some old results and saw where you wrestled superstar Billy Graham around 1978. With you being a former NWA World Champion and considering all the different world champions that you worked with over the years, do you think Billy Graham could have been an NWA World Champion, or was he just more suited for the WWF style?
I think he was more WWF style. I mean, he was good people, don't get me wrong, but that's too. I don't think I'd be suitable up in WWE. I think it's and some guys can do it in crossover. Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan. I mean, but for me, I mean, he was from that old school superstar Billy Graham. He's old school, I guess. But he wrestled in Florida too, didn't he?
But Tommy, do you not think Hogan kind of, I don't want to say copied that, but I mean, they was a lot alike.
Yeah, that's where that's where a lot of that gimmick come from. But it would, see, superstar Billy Graham was Hulk Hogan before there was a Hulk Hogan,
right?
Yeah, or before nationwide. All about being at the right spot at the right time.
And two.
Man did it at ECW, drank the beer. Stone Cold come in. Man, it was cool for him to, and that was really cool because ain't nobody done that on WWE. So he really good spot with a good gimmick at the right time, just like Hulk Hogan. Eat your Wheaties, eat your Fruit Loops, whatever it was. I mean, it was a time when it was appealing to people, and they were gassed up. I mean, blowed up, and
them vitamins.
But that was.
And prayers and vitamins is what got him there, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's kind of how I felt about it too. I'm glad we're on the same page. Chuck the Truck asks, Doug and Tommy, of all the different managers you've had over the years, who is your favorite, not counting Eddie?
Well,
hey, damn it, Doug.
What's that? You're going to laugh, Tom.
It broke his arm.
Yeah, Big Business Brown.
Big Business Brown.
And
we had a lot of fun with him now.
Hey, yeah, we had fun with him. But me growing up from a kid and everything, and now he managed Tommy also. Jimmy Hart managed Tommy. Jimmy Hart managed me. And I really like Jimmy, which Jimmy's Jimmy. I love Jimmy, but Jimmy's Jimmy. He's got the same story for every time he sees you. And everything, but I mean, Jimmy's a great guy and everything, but like he managed me and Tommy both, and Jimmy's a great guy. And I was trying to think, we had another one. Mickey Poole managed me and Tommy. Do you remember Mickey Poole?
And Lawler's
Yeah, I didn't realize he managed y'all, but I do remember him.
Yeah.
Is that when he
come-
dipped back in briefly there in
did we have
'94?
Yeah, he come back in and managed me and Tommy then, and for like a month or something like that, and everything. But that was kind of cool too because of the history, because he'd been Lawler's manager and everything. So that added to the angle and everything. But just stuff like that was real cool. And I was trying to think. There's probably another 2 or 3. Let's see.
We had Bowden.
Oh, I loved Scott. I loved him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's another 3 or 4. I love Scott. Scott was great. He was funny. He was. We could tell him anything. He'd do anything, but he would do anything anyway.
he was scared not to.
Oh yeah, I'd have to tell him to. I'd have to shut. I don't want to say shut him up and be mean, but I mean, I'd have to tell him just don't say nothing for a little bit. Or,
Oh no. The best one you got for that's your boy Lucky.
well, I guess we need to say.
Yeah,
Lucky.
Lucky. Doug took stomped the shit. Excuse me, stomped the daylights out of his briefcase. Him to shut up.
Well, I figure it's better his briefcase than him.
Oh yeah, it was.
I hit it with my bat. Now, Gene, look, if a heels, you're doing live TV and you're going after a heel manager and a heel manager stops in front of you, what are you going to do to him?
You got to do something or you're going to look like an idiot. I mean, you got to.
You're exactly right. So I reared back and I hit that freaking Halliburton briefcase, and it looked like it was in the war zone after it was over. And when we got to the back, I asked him, I said, "What is wrong with you?" And he said, "Well, what did I do?" I said, "You stood right in front of me." I said, "What am I supposed to do, like a freaking idiot?" And Tommy laughed. I mean, I hit that briefcase about 3 or 4 times and just smashed it in. And I said, "You have got you." I said, "You know better than this." And he's a real smart guy. He's a lawyer, but being smart lawyer and being smart wrestling manager. But I mean, he just got caught up in the moment and didn't, what I mean.
Caught up a lot.
That's one of those things you only have to learn once, though. Remember, like, oh yeah, don't stop in front of the baby face.
He still ain't learned. Because every time he gets around Dougie still had to tell him to shut up.
Well, yeah, I tell him to shut up, but I don't think
He still carries that same briefcase Dougie beat up, and Dougie can't beat it, don't want to beat him up, and can't beat the briefcase up no more.
But Gene,
all right,
it looks like Tommy's got some stuff in August, and it looks like September. I'm just looking at some dates over here, but it looks like me and Tommy are going to have, I don't know how we'll make it after this. Looks like we got about a 6 or 7 day run here, Tommy.
Wow. You want to give any details on that this week, or we want to save that for the future?
Mafia on tour in September. Stay tuned, and we will give y'all the details.
Exactly.
Burning up the roads.
And we're going to
get your request in. If you want them at your town, you better get your requests in now.
Hey, I'll say this: we're going to be in Tennessee. We're going to be in Mississippi. We're going to be in Arkansas, and we're going to be in Missouri. So it looks like it's going to be, like I said. If anybody needs anything, they know to get hold of Eugene, and you put them in contact, or you'll take care of the deal for us. And like I said, anything you want me and Tommy to do, like Tommy said, we'll do anything. And afterwards, there needs to be a little bit of a party.
There you go.
Hey, and easy on that anything, guys.
But Doug Gilbert podcast.
I want to clarify that, right?
Yeah, make sure you give a disclaimer there, Tommy.
We're down for. No, hey, any autograph sessions, commercials to promote your business or something, come to your business and do an autograph signing, man, we're down for it. So, hey, if you think we can help promote you, get in touch with the Memphis Mafia, Gene, because we dang sure be there.
35th anniversary, Memphis Mafia.
There you go. You only get one 35th anniversary, folks. So make sure you're a part of it. Doug Gilbert Podcast at outlook.com. That is the email if you have booking requests. If you're still looking to get a signed copy of the Eddie Gilbert book, Doug still has a few left. You can email me there, and we can get that worked out for you as well.
And like I said, Gene, if you want one of the nice shirts like Tommy's got on the Memphis Mafia 35th anniversary shirt, or the Gilbert family shirts, or whatever, pro wrestling tees, go hit them up.
Put Gilbert family is what you hit in the search bar there, and that'll take you to the page with all these great designs. There's a ton of cool designs on there on that page. You're bound to find more than one that you want to order, so make sure you do.
And everything, Gene, we got another question or two.
Well, I'm going to interject one because I don't know when he's going to come up again, but this one's from Gene Jackson. All right, Big Business Brown. Who was this guy? Where did he come from?
Big Business Brown. Listen to this story. Let's see, and Tommy will remember after I say it. He wound up
Brown.
I'm sorry, Tommy. I was talking. I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you remember that movie Risky Business?
Yeah.
Well,
that was Big Business Brown. Risky.
Right here's where he come from, Gene. Now, this is an interesting story. What was the network where they sell stuff on? What was? I'm trying to remember the
Home Shopping Network.
Yeah, the Home Shopping Network. He sent Jerry Lawler a thing wanting to be a manager, and he said he worked at the Home Shopping Network. And Lawler, he told Lawler it was something like Coke stuff or stuff that Lawler collects. Yeah. He told him he had something he wanted to give him. So Lawler called him back, and he wound up bringing him in, which he brought Lawler whatever, he collected and everything. Yeah. And he put him with me and Tommy. Me and Tommy liked him, but Tommy had him, bless his heart. He was something. I like him. And I talked to him last year, I think it was. I'd like to talk to him again and everything. And he's good. He's a great guy. And Tommy, have you talked to him in a year or two or anything?
I hadn't talked to him in a long time.
Have you not? But anyway, he's a great guy and everything. But Tommy told him to climb up on the apron at TV, and like we was doing something, I was out of the ring, and Tommy was in the ring with Brian or somebody, and he nailed Tommy, and Big Business jumped up on the apron, and Brian, I think it was Brian that hit him. It was Brian or Wolfie and Jamie. I think it was Brian. And he hit him, and Tommy told him to take a bump off the ring, and he just jumped straight back off the ring and landed on he put his arm down on the before he hit the concrete, and all of his weight landed on it. It broke his arm. Tommy.
Yeah. So he just took the Mick Foley bump right off the side of the ring like that.
Yeah, and this guy.
He ain't never took no bumps, and I didn't think, but anyway, I don't know how to hit and roll. He didn't know how to hit and roll.
Hey,
he just did the hitting part.
Hey, Tommy had to get him a pain pill or two for a few weeks, and he wound up going and getting it x-rayed, and it was broke, and they put a cast on it, didn't they, Tommy? It was.
Oh yeah, he didn't go for a few days. If you had Big Business, I need them pain pills back now.
Yeah, and he was fun, and he didn't drink or nothing. But then when that happened, I think Tommy got him to drinking. He was funny. I liked him. His
arm was all bent up. Yeah. Broken like around the wrist, but it above the wrist actually, and it started swelling up. We had to make him go to the doctor. Yeah. But
he's a super nice guy. He's one he's one to be cool to get on here with us and let.
We had a lot of fun with him. He was good. He just was naive. I mean, he worked on the shopping network, and Lawler gave him the opportunity, and he did. He did good for he did good at what he did. He was good at what he did.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask that question, because like going back and through watching a lot of this stuff in recent years, he's a guy that just he just shows up out of nowhere with no backstory. I started looking around in other territories. You couldn't find him anywhere else. I'm like, where did this guy come from? So that's a great story. That explains it.
Well, no, because he knew what Lawler collected. So
yeah, well, that's your ticket. Coca-Cola or Superman, you might have your foot in the door.
There you go. I think it might have been Superman actually, but yeah, Coke or Superman was in business.
Never know what it was with Lawler now.
Hey now. All right, I think we're about done today, Doug. You wanted to start wrapping it up?
Well, man, look, I hope we answered everybody's questions good. And like I said, if y'all like the answers and everything, keep sending questions in. Meantime, I love answering y'all's questions. Like I said, I think we answer them as true as we know that they are and everything. We'll tell you what you need to know and everything. But, man, hey, we appreciate everybody listening. I know Tommy's had a good time with this show. I have a good time with it, and I think Gene does also.
Absolutely.
But, man, we appreciate y'all listening. Tell your friends and everything. And like I said, peace. Be cool.
Make sure you catch Tommy Rich coming to these cities in August. Friday, August the 8th at the Playland Roller Skate Zone in Dalton, Georgia. Saturday, August the 9th, catch Tommy from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Big D Flea Market in Dalton, taking pictures and signing autographs with fans. Then, that evening, he will be in Thomaston, Georgia for the Old School Wrestling 2nd Annual Tommy Rich Cup. Then on Sunday, August the 10th, Tommy will be appearing at the Fish House in Americus, Georgia from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at uswapodcast.com.
In the heart of Tennessee, born with pride, Doug and Tommy taking rings in stride. Memphis legends never backing down, wrestling warriors, they wear the crown. You scurry away, glory in their veins, fighting legends breaking chains. In the squared circle they made their name, podcast champions, it's their claim to fame. On the mic they roar, on the map they soar, dangerous conversations, fans wanting more. Podcast kings ruling the waves, Memphis wrestling raising the stage. From title belts to Hall of Fame, Doug and Tommy carved the name. Fists of fury and hearts of gold. Every story, every fight we told. Tales of glory, laughter, cry. Tennessee warriors with hearts open wide. In the ring or on the air, legends living without a care. On the mic they roar, on the mat they soar. Dangerous conversations, fans wanting more. Our guys kings ruling the waves, Memphis wrestling.